Good evening, everybody. Hope you can all hear me and you're all doing well this week. Who have we got in? Hi to Jason, the train freak, Anthony Dodge, Tim, good to see you here, David, Leslie, Kieran. Who else we got in? Jerry, how you doing? Jilak. Oh. As Jerry says, yes, all the usual suspects. How is everybody this week? Let me know if the pictures are coming through clearly. I know camera 4 is a bit dark. I did put up some new lights. They're giving off a bluish hue, so it's not very good. So I'm going to have to replace those. You might see a couple of new locos going around. They were what I got with my birthday pennies I got a few weeks back. The orange and black one that's going around is an Irish Rail Class 121, and the video out tomorrow will be a review of that, so you can see it in a bit more detail. Yeah, I know camera 4 is a bit black. Oh, there's my light. I couldn't actually. I will plug this in to try and illuminate that side of it better. Bear with me, guys. That's no better at all. Oh yeah, it is showing up as completely black, but on my broadcast it's not. It's a bit strange. All right, let me just move the camera. Oh, I see the... It's all right. The camera has just decided to stop working for some reason. Bear with me, guys. I'll get this sorted. There's always something on this stream. Something goes wrong. Yeah, they've been chewing through everything, Jason. Right, I got it back working. So while I've got it in my hand, hello everybody, I will use it as a roving camera. So I can show you what I've been up to. As I try to position it without putting my fingers in front of the camera. All right, you can see I've done some of the rock work around here now. I'm not totally happy with it at the moment, but I'm going to start adding green around it and grass and see how it blends in. Retaining walls in place. It's been painted. And the rest of it has been painted brown, ready for static grass and other scenic material. The church has been given a coat of paint. I need to put some glazing in it, or I may leave it like that as a slightly derelict building. And I got the Metcalfe Castle bit. So that's going to sit at the top of the hill. And coming out of the tunnel now shortly will be my new purchase, which I'm able to tell you about because my other half bought it for me, which is why I've done a review on it. So it's a Murphy's Models Irish Rail Class 121. I've done some more track laying over here for the steam shed. It's not totally set. It's going to be like that at the moment. I'm just sort of messing around to see how it looks. And then over here, I've started doing some also track layout for the TMD. Yeah, it's homegrown, Anthony, but I think it's made in Illinois. Well, I'm going to flip you over, guys. Put you back over here. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, Jerry, my budget is blown. Yeah, they were built and supplied by GM EMD Illinois. They arrived in Ireland in 1961. A max speed of 77 miles per hour, weight 64 tons, length 12.15 meters. And they were retired in about 2008, 2009, I think. The Waterford to Russell Airline. They need to open up a lot of rail lines. Is there traffic for it, Leslie? Probably not. But it's like a lot of things. If you build it, they will come. It's like I keep saying, if you wait till you need the railway, it's too late. You need to get ahead of yourself and have the infrastructure in place, whether it is railways or tramways or motorways or whatever. Yeah, Jason, you would like the orange one. That's the American one. from Illinois. Am I saying that right? So I've done a review on it. So that's the video that's out tomorrow. I'm actually ahead of myself. Well, I think what needs to be open is the Western corridor from Sligo all the way down to Galway. From Galway down is already reopened. And they need to reopen the line from Derry that went down through Strabane onto Omagh onto Dublin. And they need to open the line from then going from Strabane all the way through Donegal down to Ballyshannon, and then build a brand new line which never actually existed from Ballyshannon onto Sligo. So then you have a complete circuit of Ireland. Illinois. I'll probably never get that right. Yeah, well, it's an Irish gauge, Leslie, so it would be for the 5'3", which is our standard gauge over here. Again, that gauge was decided on as a compromise. Because they started building the Belfast to Dublin Railway in the 1840s. And one end started at 4'8.5", and the other end started at 5'6". So they got together. Well, they were forced to get together by the government and said, "Look, lads." So the compromise was 5'3". Hi, Derek. Derek Smith here has joined in on Facebook. We're over on YouTube as well, Derek, if you want to join us on there. Excuse me. Are you part of the is it Into the West campaign? That was one of the major problems with the trains, is that they didn't meet with the ferries, Leslie. And here's the thing, Rosslare Harbour, the facilities there are partly owned by Iarnród Éireann. So the train would leave before the ferry got in, which was pointless. Hi, Hardcore, how you doing? 5'3", that's the gauge we have over here, Hardcore in Ireland. Oh, you're about to do the feasibility study, Derek. That's good. Yeah, it's something that Irish Rail don't seem to concentrate on, is their freight services. I mean, you remember railways were originally started for freight. Carrying passengers was an afterthought. You know, freight should be the mainstay of the railways business because they can run that 24/7. Most passengers only look to be moved around work and school times. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, guys, and subscribe if you're new here. My subscribe count has been creeping up again over the past week. It seemed to stop completely there for a while. I used to get the train a lot in, let's see now, it would have been the beginning of the 90s when we were first living in Bristol. I got the train back. I used to get the train up through Crewe up to Holyhead, get on the ferry, and get the train from Dublin up to Sligo. And then I had to get the bus then, or thumb a lift or whatever. Yeah, I agree with you there, Derek. He's just highlighted that the current pandemic has highlighted how many heavy goods vehicles are on the roads. And there has to be a rail solution for moving bulk materials around. But not only that, Derek, what are they going to do in 30, 40 years' time when there's no diesel fuel to fuel the lorries? As I know, they have started experimenting with electric lorries, but you're not going to have enough power in the current technology to pull a decent amount of freight. The Chrysler Viaduct, I believe, was torn down in the mid-60s. Why they vandalized it and tore it down, I don't know. But I've recently had contact from somebody who was trying to put a memorial up there, and they're doing some work to clean some of the ivy off some of the remains of it. It was obviously back in was it 1925? In the end of January, there was the case of the train was blown off the tracks there. Yeah, I think I went up to 829 today. I gained one today. Oh, I'm live now, am I? That's good to know, Jerry. Yeah, I usually get notified about halfway through my stream to say, oh, you're live. Oh, really? So if anybody's got any questions or anything, just keep popping them in the chat and I'll see if I can answer them. I just put the link for the YouTube stream into Facebook there, because there's a few people watching on Facebook who want to come over and join the chat on YouTube. I'm running DCC, Jason. I'm using Hornby Railmaster, purely because when I started to get into DCC, I was looking around and I just bought a Hornby train set that came with it. And I've been using that. To be honest, I don't really like it. It's very fiddly and sometimes it refuses to work. And it's a real pain when you have a short. You have to reset everything and it takes a couple of minutes to get going again. Derek, if you look, I just put a link to the chat or to the stream on the Facebook feed. Yeah, I want to see what system to get, Jason. A lot of people recommend stuff. I'm waiting until I get to a show so I can have a look at different systems and have a fiddle with them and see which one is best. Because if you look up Denny Goldad on YouTube, Derek, you'll find me that way. So you're using the Arduino DCC system. So with the systems you use, guys, how long does it take for you to read a chip? To get all the CV values? Because it can take Railmaster anything from 25 minutes to an hour to read a chip. And I've discovered recently Railmaster seems to have an issue with CV29. When you get a loco, you put the chip in, it's on the default 3, everything works fine. As soon as you put in the address you want, it changes the value of 29, so the lights don't work, it goes in the wrong direction. So you need to take note of the value of CV29. And then once you put your number in that you want, your address you want, you have to go back to 29 and reset it. Because I had that with my class 37 for ages. It wasn't, the lights weren't working on it. And I finally figured out it was CV29. And funny enough, when I put the chip into my new class 121, it done the same thing. And immediately I knew it was... that's just one of those things you need to know. How's the picture coming through tonight? I got my broadband issue sorted out from last week. They done something to the frequencies they broadcasted on, because I get it through a microwave link, and that's what was upsetting it. So they managed to reset it on Monday, and I was up and running again. So you can see on this here, I plan to put a sort of a waterfall here coming down into the river and underneath the track. So as I say, I've done all the sort of rock work now. I'm not 100% happy with it, but once I put the greenery in and start blending stuff in, we'll see how it looks. King of the castle. I'm quite impressed with that Metcalf kit. It took me, let's see now, it must have taken me about 6 hours to put the kits together for that, what you see up there. And I think I was out here on the Friday night watching Anthony stream while doing it. And then I continued on the Sunday while I was watching the Grand Prix. So in all, it was about 6 hours. Yeah, I'd done a speed test before I came on just to see how it was looking, and I've got my what I'm paying for 50 down and 10 up, which is the best I can get where I am. There's no fiber out here. And I warned all my kids to stay off the broadband for an hour. Well, they'll know I'll just go and switch it off on them. Yeah, there's another one this week. Hardcore. We had the Cyro in the museum for a year, which is over here with the... They've started running fiber along the electricity lines. So it's a whole new fiber system running through the electrical grid. And that was quite good, but it was very, very expensive. And we're back now just having, like yourself, Jerry, fiber to the cabinet and then copper from the cabinet. So we get pretty much the same here, 50 down, 10 up. But to be honest, the museum doesn't need much more than that because we're not heavily streaming anything. It's just for office work and for whenever I do the odd live stream from there. Yeah, hardcore. I'm glad to see Hamilton struggle. I'm not a fan of Hamilton. I know he's a big winning everything at the moment, but I want to see Verstappen. Oh, what have you got? Or can't you open it Sunday, Anthony? Well, 600 meters isn't too bad to be from a cab. I mean, it's good for usually up to maybe 4 kilometers. After that, it can start. Of course, then it depends on whether it's going through the air or underground. Are the joints full of water? I used to work in telecoms. All right, see you, Jason. Take care. Oh, I got some. Well, I haven't got some. Somebody contacted me. They had a layout, and it's all AC 3-rail Markland stuff that they've donated to the centre. That I'm gonna, when we have everything in place, put it in one of the carriages and try and do a youth project with it. I haven't even looked to see what I've got yet, so I might be sending you some pictures, Anthony, looking for advice. Yeah, it does, Leslie. It depends how many's using it, your contention ratio, and you'll always find in the evenings it slows down because everybody comes home, they're on Netflix or whatever, and it just slows down. Hi, Ewan, how's it going? How are you keeping? You'll see there going around behind the Class 20 is the Dapple hoppers I got for my birthday as well for my daughter. They're the unpainted ones, so I have to paint and weather them at some point. No doubt they will carry on going around there for the next year without being painted. I might just raise that camera up a wee bit. Oh, you didn't go for a haircut then when you were down at Skillen? I'm hoping to go there sometime in the future when most of the restrictions are gone. Speak to them, see if they let me do a bit of filming. They have a lot of stuff in there. To be honest, I need a haircut. So, has anybody got any big plans for holidays or anything over the summer? Or is everybody just waiting to see what happens? Or have you already written this year off? All right, the red was too hard to read. Right, okay. I'll note that down and I'll change it next time. It's one of those things, it's very hard. Hi, Lone Wolf, how's it going? When you're editing the videos and you're looking at it on your screen and you're like, does that look all right? But then if people are watching on a tablet or a phone or even their own TV, it can distort it and it doesn't look because I upload all my videos in 720. So I'm looking at maybe going to, I'd like to get a weekend away just for me and the missus in November. We'd like to go to New York for a weekend. You know, just before Christmas. I had a look earlier on. Flights are actually quite cheap at the moment. We'll both have our, well, she's already got her full vaccine. I've got my first shot. I'll get my second shot in a couple of weeks. So we'll both be fully vaccinated. It'd just be nice to get away for a weekend because we haven't been away anywhere like everybody else in the world since our last disastrous holiday, which is Christmas 2019. Christopher, how you doing, sir? Haven't seen you for a while. How are you keeping? Yeah, I'm finding now I have a little bit more time. Now things are getting more settled and more into a routine. I'm eking out a bit of time to come out here and do bits and pieces. Not as much as I'd like to, but and I am sort of planning to maybe go over to the UK for a couple of weeks if I can. Maybe first 2 weeks of August, something like that, just to take a few of the kids over, throw the tent in the back, and do a little bit of touring around. But again, well, it depends on the restrictions. Irn-Bru and turnips keep tea cakes. Yeah, Irn-Bru is not the same now. They changed the recipe slightly, I think, to keep in with the sugar tax when that came out, and it tastes artificial now. I know it's probably artificial to begin with, but even more so. And I don't know if you guys think that some drinks taste different out of plastic bottles than they do out of glass. There's no more girders. You're right, Andy. There is a difference between glass, plastic, and cans. A lot of it is to do with the way the air mixes with it as you drink it from, whether it's glass, can, or plastic. Oh, you're lucky you've got heat, Kieran. Now, this morning it was miserable. The clouds cleared, the sun came out, and it was actually quite warm, but it's got cool again. Sunday was a fantastic day. The sun was splitting the rocks, and then it clouded over. In the evening, it was absolutely freezing. There was one evening this week I had to light the fire. I was sat there going, no, it's June, I'm not lighting the fire. And then eventually it got too cold. But this room here, the heat in here is actually quite stable because I put the insulation in. It actually is warmer in here than it is outside. Even when I come in and there's no heat on, it retains the heat. Yeah, there's been no heat here in Donegal. In fact, I went down to my local pub Biddy's on Sunday for the first pint out since Christmas 2019. Of course, we have to sit outside here in Ireland. We can't actually go into the pub and sit down and drink. And it was freezing. So I sat outside, had a couple of pints. And the good thing is my daughter is working down in Biddy's during the summer, so she can drive me home. I also must mention her because she got the results from her degree the other day, and she's come away with a first-class honours degree. So we're all very proud of her. Extremely proud of her. Yeah, so she's got it, biomedical devices or sciences. I probably got it wrong now. Of course, my other kids aren't that happy because they're saying to her, well done, Nicola. You've put the bar so high now for the rest of us. I am very proud of her, Anthony. I'm very chuffed. Yeah, she had to do her dissertation on the COVID vaccine. which was driving her nuts because every time she wrote something, the science would change. I do like that Bachmann Class 47 that's going around. I put a one of the Rails of Sheffield chips in that. It's a 21-pin one. I must say it's working quite well. But here's the thing. When you buy a new loco, should you have to fix little problems with it? Or should you just send it back? Because that one, one of the windows as the cab had fallen out. The one of the plastic around the bogies had slipped off. Now that was only a matter of just pushing it back on. That was no biggie. But it's just little things like that when you get it and you just, yes, I had to take it apart anyway to put the chip in it. But it meant I had to take the cab apart as well to glue that window back in. But I am very impressed with the Murphy's Model 121 there. Putting the chip in was so easy. There's you take a bit off the top of it, pop the chip in, and away you go. You see, it's more hassle for me to send stuff back because if I buy stuff from the UK, I get it delivered to a friend in Northern Ireland, so I don't have to pay excessive delivery. And with the whole Brexit thing, that can be a right pain. You know, and it's something like that. Now, if I bought it from my local model shop, even that is because that's a day trip out to go to Modeler's Corner because this is down to Skilling, so you've got it's an hour's drive to get there. And the problem with is when you go to a model shop, you always end up spending more money. Yeah, Jerry, it's a real headache when you're trying to ship stuff, especially from Ireland. Now, I'm only, you know, the nearest post office in the UK for me is probably half an hour drive away. It's a whole hassle of doing it. So I do get annoyed by little things like that. At the same time, and what about the whole thing that Hornby have come out with now? The tier system they have for their stockists. By the looks of it, they've put the box shifters on the bottom tier. Oh, update on the works for Drumbo in the station. They've come in and they've started building the walls for the platform. The steels have gone up for the canopy. So we just need them to come in and put the slab of concrete across the walls they've built for the platform. And then we can start putting down rails. So that'll be fun. So I'll be doing a video on track laying. It'll be 3-foot gauge, but one section will have the chairs bolted straight onto the concrete, and the other section will have traditional sleepers. Yeah, it does mean the smaller model shops will probably help them survive. Because, you know, everybody needs their local model shop to go in and get help and advice for. And like my local model shop, the video I put out yesterday, Modeler's Corner, that's the one I go to because this is the nearest one to me. And if I'm down in Dublin, I go into Mark's Models and have a good look around, and they're always very friendly and helpful and advice, and we'll get stuff in and post it up to you if required. As well as that, they can put you in touch with other modelers in your area. There was 5'3" in Donegal, but not by the Donegal Railways. It was the Great Northern Line that ran from Derry down to Strabane. It actually ran from Derry into Donegal, then back across the border into Strabane. So there was 3 railways in County Donegal: Londonderry, Loswilly, County Donegal Railway, and the Great Northern. The first railway was built in 1850, 54, was it? I don't remember now. And the last railway through Donegal closed in 1965. You got track in a class 58. I actually I got a class 58 and I pulled it out the other day. I didn't realize I'd actually put a chip in it. I brought that class 58 probably in the early 90s in Toys R Us in Bristol. Hi, Rachel. That's my youngest daughter, Rachel. She'll be finishing national school or primary school next week. And then she'll be heading off to secondary school in September. Yeah. I'll show you, Kieran. This is parked over. That's it there. Going back to Jack there, what's the least used station in Ireland? I think the least used station is one on, I think it's the Lewis line, because they built the station because they were supposed to be building a big housing development and the crash happened and they never built the housing development. So that station is sitting there unused. The last train on the Donegal part of the network was on the 30th of December 1959, and it was a train from Strabane to Ballyshannon, bringing a load of coal to Ballyshannon to keep it going until the lorries could take over from the train. Yeah, and I did get that sense of the that video when I watched it earlier on. I thought, oh, he's not in a good mood. That's why I sent you that message. I don't know if you got it. Because there's nothing like people to just hack you off. Oh, my 20 stopped for some reason. Why is that stopped? Yeah, Leslie, you're right. Just bite your tongue and go, you are not worth my time and my energy. Yeah. Class 20's given up the ghost for some reason. I'm going to take it off. All right, I'll use the old hand of God to put it on. One thing I do like about the Bachmann engines is they put a driver in them. Yeah, it can make you feel better, but then sometimes you just get into a tit for tat situation. I think Europort will grow purely because they're now bringing more boats in that way to bypass the UK. It's already seen an increase in capacity as far as I know. There's more ro-ro ferries coming in. But it doesn't, I don't think it has the freight handling capability at the moment. I.e., you can't take containers. Leslie, sometimes I bite my tongue that hard. I think I'm going to bite it off. Well, if the business is there, Jalak, they will equip it to handle freight. You know, in this day and age, money is the king. If they can make a buck at it, that's why they'll do it. That's why businesses do anything. It's to make money. They don't do things out of the goodness of their heart. I'd say everyone that has gone over to Double O'Neill, I think he was doing a premiere at 8 o'clock. I don't mind. I just like having a few guys on here, having a chat for an hour or so. Chewing the cud, as they say. And the trains have worked well tonight, apart from the Class 20, which has stopped for some reason. But I bet that chip has reset itself for some reason. It just seems to do that every now and again. I have ordered a few more chips because I want, I've got a few more diesel locos and stuff that I want to convert over to DCC and get them running. Jerry, the Metcalf was a fairly easy build. The towers, they were very easy. The walls, yeah, it was just you make up a box and then put the surround around them. I didn't get the castle section. I've got the gatehouse because I just want the impression of a castle. That was probably the fiddlier bit, but it was all fairly easy. As I say, to put what you see up there with the two towers, the walls, and the gatehouse, it probably took about 6 hours all in all. Put it together. I mean, that was while I was watching stuff on TV and everything. So if you were sitting down concentrating on it, you'd probably do it quicker. If I was in charge of the railways, I wouldn't want to be in charge of the railways. I would want to be in charge of transport. Because I would have changed the whole model. So you had buses feeding into train stations, which then fed into the cities. Instead of having buses competing with trains and having freight competing with trains. Like we had back in Donegal, we had an integrated transport system. We had people turned up to the train station, got the train and went elsewhere. Their goods turned up to the train station and got transported everywhere. Then they brought along buses and lorries and they competed against trains and the whole thing started to fall apart. Yeah, I agree with you there, Jerry. Metcalf is better than Super Quick. I've got a few Super Quick kits around. I've still got those low relief houses, Metcalf houses to build, which I might do that this. Oh no, I've got to go out this Sunday. I was going to say I would do it while I was watching the Grand Prix. I'm not going to get a chance to watch the Grand Prix. But I use the rocket card glue. That is very, very good for doing it. It bonds very, very quickly. So you need to make sure it's right. But it's instant. It's far better than using any other type of glue. Right, I'm going to call it a night, guys. I'm going to put everything to bed. And I might head into town and get a sneaky takeaway. So I'm feeling in that sort of mood. Go and get something that's really unhealthy. Yeah, I'm going now anyway, Yunan. I will catch you all next week. Say I got a video out tomorrow on the Murphy's models. It's only like 10 minutes long, so you can have a look at that. And then I'll be back again hopefully next Thursday with another live stream. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Stay safe, everyone. And I'll catch you around the streams.